Right golfers, I want to show you a race that lots of you are really quick and good at, but at the same time you then lose dramatically as well. So what I mean by this, if you're someone who stands here, hit your drives and struggle with big slices off to the right, you're someone who can't stop the club going this way and across the ball, which is so many of you when it comes to hitting good drives, then this drill is really gonna help you. So the race that you're really great at and then you really struggle at is the race with your shoulder turn and your chest and your basically your upper body's rotation into the downswing, into impact. And the race we're going to play, and with the help of JD Golf Academy, I've got some data measured on this. And if you like measured truths, make sure you check out my free weekly newsletter, Talking Golf Swing. We go into a bit more depth on some of the ideas that we talk about in all of these videos to help you be the best player you can be. So we're going to do the race to zero. So what I mean by this, let's just pretend when I set up to the ball, I'm somewhere near zero with my upper body. Then I'm going to rotate away from the target, so let's call this minus, and then I'm going to rotate some degrees back to somewhere in zero in my downswing or at impact or afterwards, and then I'm going to rotate into plus numbers. So I think lots of us are aware that we're turning back somewhere towards target and then coming back somewhere towards the ball and then going through, like we all get this. But we see a common pattern with amateurs where their efforts to get to zero are great or almost too quick to begin, and then they just stall. And this golf lesson is so important for so many of you. You can use it with iron and driver, but it's really predominant with driver, which is why we do see driver swings coming so much this way with amateurs and them hitting those horrible slices. So if you want to get the most out of your driver, and this is one of the reasons why you can't hit your driver as straight as you should be able to, as straight as you can, is because of this race. So the race that pros play, same idea, they turn away from the target into minus numbers, then they get back to zero at some point in their downswing, believe it or not, before they hit the ball, and then they open up on the way through. Now the pattern that we see a lot from really good players is their rib cage, so their chest, if you like, gets to zero, around very close to and at zero. So square onto the ball with their upper body when the club is somewhere near parallel to the ground, kind of here to here-ish, depending on the player. Very, very similar though. They're all zeroing here, and then as they come into the ball, their shoulders are just, and their rib cage is just turning and opening up into impact. Now what we see with amateurs is they're super fast out of the blocks. So as they start their downswing, even going into their backswing, super, super quick at rotating, and then they stall. They slow down as the arms then try to overtake. So the amateur pattern is we actually see as they start completing their backswing with their arms, they start rotating really early with their shoulders back towards target. They're really rotating quickly this way, which tends to set things out over onto this path. Then their shoulders stall, and they tend to get down near zero with their upper body kind of here to some of them here. So where the pros are getting zeroed with their body, so turning their body kind of here to here, amateurs as a general rule, certainly ones who slice across it, common pattern, they're kind of here to impact and through. So what we see is a big quick turn, then the arms start dropping, you see which way that sent the club, and then we see, because their upper body is stalling, these kind of bunched up horrible impacts where they're basically in their own way. So golfers, we need to slow you down, but then we need to speed you up. So the goal, and you could do this at home, you want to try and get your upper body rib cage around zero, squaring up to the ball, so feeling like you're squaring this rib cage up to the ball while your arms are around here, club's kind of somewhere near parallel to the ground. And you can even do this to start. Really good way of feeling this is just put yourself to a ball or in the garden, an imaginary ball down there. Literally go into a downswing position, feel like your shoulders or chest is straight, somewhere straight towards the ball. So this would be closed, this would be my chest open, so somewhere towards straight, and just get that club parallel to the ground and in line with your feet and just swing through. You're going to see how the feeling of that is really good for pushing that path on a straight path. Now what I want you to do is close your shoulders, so I'm putting my shoulders this way, push your arms out, which is what lots of you do now, feel like you're swinging at it, like you can't straighten things up unless you start seeing these horrible patterns. And we definitely see those horrible patterns come out, like they play out time and time again. So once you've felt what square on is with the arms down in a few swings, how can we delay that start of the downswing with your upper body? What I want you to try and do is get the start of your downswing to feel more like it's a slight lateral shift to the lead side. So a little bit more lead side where you keep your back to target for a lot longer. So this way, opposed to this way. See how I'm just rotating early with upper body? That's why we see the woohoo over the tops, where I want you to feel like you're almost getting that pressure onto that lead foot, really leaning down onto that lead side as you just keep your back to the target. And what you're going to see with that action is that, see the path of the club now, it just sensibly starts coming down on a better path. You don't have to feel like you're laying it down, dropping it down, anything like that. This will just do it. So practice swing, I'm going to go up to the top, try and keep my back for target a little bit longer, and then get out. Now this is the important part. What we see from the pros is we see them delay the start of that rotation where the amateurs are really quick at the start of the downswing, but then they just overtake the amateurs. So kind of from here down to this 0 point, they really are starting to overtake with their shoulders what the amateurs do. So we see the amateurs leading, and then we see the pros just overtake because they are going delay, delay, and then really quick at getting out. So how can you make sure that you're quick at getting out and that you're not just stuck with your back to target even more? Well, this is where this really helps. This thing, this moving, spinning, high-speed rock we live on that we can push off. We can use the earth to help us. Top of your backswing, you're going to delay the start of the turning of your downswing. Keep your back to that target, but feel that pressure building in your lead foot as you do it, because we need to use that pressure as a way of pushing out of that lead foot to get the rotations out into that club down at the bottom. We need that snap back with your hips, that turn, that push out the ground. So try this at home, in your living room, in your office, wherever you're watching this, next time you're at the practice tee. I want you to start being the greenkeeper's worst enemy. Sorry guys, yeah, I know I didn't say that out loud, but I do. I want you to go backswing, delay, downswing. Now as you come down into trying to get your club from up here down to the ball, I want you to really push your lead foot in a way that it makes the ground push back at you. You see my lead foot snapping out? Really get jumping out of that lead side. This is what's going to allow you to be delayed and then pick up the pace at the right time to get the energy out onto that club at the right time. So this will help you hit the ball longer, but you won't have to feel like you're swinging faster and more out of control. This will also mainly help you include the path or improve the path of your club this way as you spin out, rather than spin out, slow down, drop your arms and then crash. And that's the key to hitting straighter shots. That's the reason you can't hit the driver as straight as you should be able to. So feel that lateral shift, like you're just keeping that back, build that pressure in that lead foot, and then spin out. Putting those actions into some shots, you're going to find that you hit very different strikes. Oh, absolute ripper, with very different shapes on, which will allow you hopefully to hit a lot more balls in play further down there and lower those scores. Now look, if you want to go into this in more detail, remember my newsletter, links down below. I cover these with a little bit more detail, explaining graphs and what have you for people who want to understand it a bit more. If you want to stay on YouTube and watch another one of my driver videos about this timing idea, this one's great.